we're gonna turn this little bowl that starts with 37,000 GDP into the greatest state in the world, 207 million GDP and 25 mil pops. In Texas alone, we've got more GDP and standard of living than the rest of the world, including more than the US, Great Britain, France, and so on, by 1921. And we did all this by playing insanely tall in my first one-state challenge. We only have 56,000 population, 6.8 standard of living, 15% literacy, and 37,000 GDP, not even 100,000 GDP. And we're fighting against Mexico, which has 3.34 million GDP. If we win, we get back the rest of Mexico. If they win, we gotta have to restart the game. So we gotta make sure we win this. We're gonna set up our enlistment efforts, edicts, road maintenance, social mobility, everything else that we can, including greener gas campaign, because we want to attract as many pops as possible. Of course, they're going to be more than happy to come to the 6.8 standard of living, you might say, but don't worry, that's temporary. Legislation wise, it could be better. It definitely could be better. We have some laws we need to outlaw as soon as possible. One of my favorites though is to go for dedicated police force, because it will make the armed forces and a few other interest groups happier. Surprisingly, the armed forces are the ones predominantly in charge of our country, with Thomas Jefferson Rusk leading the way and David Burnett being the president of our mighty nation. Our budget consists of basically donations from people, I would assume is what this is here. 898 national revenue, holy mother. We're gonna go on a very low taxation, and we're gonna go on very high military wages, because it doesn't make that much of a difference anyway. Goods for military investment is the biggest issue here. We don't have any actual industry or any actual anything really. Our entire nation consists of a maize farm, a vineyard, and some subsistence farm. That's it. Oh, and a couple of barracks. Yeah, it's pretty bad, boys. It's pretty bad. Let's go ahead and set a few trades up. We got some trades from the Americans. We're importing small arms, as you would expect, but we have 4 more trades we can get for free. So we're gonna import a little bit of what we're lacking, which is everything right now in essence. The biggest issue really is the fact that we don't have a port. I'm gonna start building my little port here, which is gonna allow me to connect with the rest of the world, and as such I'll be able to import from the rest of the world whatever goods I need to start off. And I'm also going to be conscripting another conscript battalion. Guess I should be happy considering we only have 56,000 pops that one battalion is even available. Set up our strategically designated area as the rest of Mexican Texas. Declare an interest in the Rhine, because that's where we always wanted to go, right? It's just so we can actually trade with other nations afterwards. Now we are going to set our units to defend front for the time being. Adamant defense, actually. I'm not going to go for the last stand because the casualties taken is a massive problem for me. I cannot afford to take any casualties right now, and I'm gonna improve relations with the Americans just so maybe they're gonna help me out. Let's see what happens. Here goes nothing, boys. Here goes nothing. All right, well, we are starting this with a nice little battle in Texas where we're kicking some Mexican butts, boys. A clear victory for all. And we've also captured General Santa Anna. This gives us 2 options. We either can send them back to Mexico and we continue the fight in hopes of getting the rest of the Mexican territories, well, Texan territories, or we use them to do a peace deal. I want to show you guys what happens if we go for the other option, because as you probably imagined, we're not going to have the best of outcomes here. We do get military assistance from the Americans almost always, which is good, but we still pretty much get our asses handed to us, which is why it's vital for us to reload the game and send them over so we get a peace deal done. That way we end up with only keeping our territory. We don't get the rest of Texas, but we'll get that in the future once we start the war again. We're gonna be back, don't worry. Now we can go on very low military wages so we don't completely collapse our economy. Might as well go for medium taxation, I guess. Not gonna make much of a difference anyway. Oh, I just realized we don't have iron mines. Brother, what? This is gonna be a lot more challenging than I expected it to. I'm gonna queue up a logging camp, and I'm gonna queue up a cotton plantation too. Let's see where exactly we would be able to get some iron from though. We got a brand new president, Mirabeau Lamar, which means we are a little bit jingoistic, so we might have some help getting professional army, let's just say, to fight back against those Mexicans afterwards. US wants to request foreign investment rights in our country. Sure, we can go for that. And of course we instantly start with a coup as well. Dedicated police forces here though, so that's good. Now let's see what we're gonna prioritize, because we have a lot of things we need to modernize. Professional army would be easy to go for now, now, it's gonna lower my conscription rate by a lot, but it's not like we can get that many conscripts anyway, right? National Guard might also be pretty good, but what we really want to go for is frontier colonization, because that way we're gonna be able to colonize the Comanche areas, which are claimed by both us and Mexico. So if we play our cards right, we might be able to get a bigger chunk of Texas before the next war with the Mexicans. Funny how we don't have iron, which is one of the most basic and vital things, but we do have a lot of sulfur. So obviously we're going to have to rely 100% on the Americans for iron. We might have to get a mutual investment agreement so we can be the ones that make sure that we get those iron mines built basically in the US when needed. I'm also going to build up a furniture manufactory so we get a little bit of a use out of the wood that we're producing right now in our logging camps. Coup attempt fizzles out about freaking time. I don't like my coups. I like only... Wait, whoa, hold on a second. We have every one of the major parties in the government, and we have 100% righteous government. This might actually be a lot better than I initially thought it would be. Okay, we're actually making massive gains in the colonization effort here. We're getting a province in 60 days, whereas the Mexicans are getting a province here in about 150 days. So we should be able to get a bigger chunk of Texas than the Mexicans are going to be getting. We're also up to 124,000 GDP, so we're doing pretty good. 109,000 population, so that's growing pretty fast as well. Our cultural makeup right now is pretty straightforward, mostly Dixies, a little bit of Igbo. Not sure where the Igbo are from. Maybe they were here from before. I'm not 100% sure where that is. Some Bantus, Afro-American. Oh, I see what this is. Oh God, okay, now I understand what that is. Oh God, okay, yeah. So I'm gonna be building some farms. Farms seem to be doing pretty well. My people enjoy a little bit of beef, so we're gonna get a secondary livestock ranch. The fact that we don't have iron mines is brutal, but the reality is we have sulfur, and sulfur is gonna be the key to us making massive amounts of money. And yes, in essence, I'm gonna be just trading my sulfur for iron from the Americans. This might be a lot more challenging than I initially thought it would be, because let's face it, without those iron mines, it's gonna be brutal, and I really mean brutal. Also gonna get another farm. I also want to switch basically my population from working in subsistence farms to working in farms, actual maize farms. Right now we have 1.2 thousand people working in subsistence farms with a possibility of up to 1.4 million, because one of the good things about Texas, and the reason I chose this state/nation as my one state challenge nation, is because it has a lot of arable land. That's right, 292. It's probably around 400 once we get the entirety of Texas, which is about half of what Prussia starts with when it comes to arable land. It's also one of the reasons why a lot of pops are going to be migrating to this area in the New World as we progress in the campaign. Also going to queue up basically a little bit of everything, and I just realized I don't actually have mines. So me going for the water tube boilers is absolutely pointless. I should have gone for stock exchange. Let's finish off banking quick and go for society technologies rather than production technologies. Some of you might be like, Ludi, you suck at the game. I know, I'm trying, okay? I'm just having fun here. The point of this is to have fun. And let's see how close we're now to getting the trade agreement with the Americans. We're a little bit further than we were before. How is that even possible, bro? Okay, it's probably because we have only plus 19 relations. That minus 30 relations from us choosing not to become their protectorate really bit us on the ass, but we're making gains. Now we're back up to cordial, so we can do a defensive pact. So at least we know that we don't have to worry about the Mexicans attacking us anytime soon now, and whenever we attack the Mexicans, we might even be able to sway the Americans to join on our side. Also gonna go for National Guard, both because of the conscription rate and also because of the harvest condition impact, revolution secession progress, and political movement activism reduction. It's not bad. It also means we're gonna have up to 4 battalions we can mobilize, so that's pretty decent. Now, since we're making a little bit of money, let's go for very low taxation. That way we increase our standard of living, and with a little bit of luck, we might get even more pops to come over to our country. Let me actually check what my migration attraction is looking like right now. It is not great. I only have 93 migration attraction. Yeah, that's not amazing, but I mean, it could be worse, right? 93 is better than nothing. If we look at the overall migration map, the northern states have a lot of migrants. I mean, look at that. 87.9 migration attraction, and they're getting a lot of pops, whilst we have 93.6 migration attraction, and we're getting less than Wisconsin. How is that even fair, man? How is that fair? We are eligible for a mass migration target, though, so with with a little bit of luck, we're going to be able to get some mass migrants. Right now, we're mostly just getting pops from the Niger Delta. So we're going to stop looking at that map for now. Make the Texans a rival. Sure, we could do that. Boom, Texas, you suck. Oh, the Americans want to ally me. Oh, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna ally you boys. And we got a trade agreement. Okay, the game is over. We literally won. We actually freaking won. As long as we have the Americans as an ally, the world is our oyster. The only problem with this is if they form their own power block, which they probably will at some point, the issue is gonna be that they're gonna want us to be a part of that power block. And if we say no, what's gonna happen is they probably will attack us. So I gotta be careful, and I'm gonna have to get other allies aside from the US as I progress. Actually, for that matter, we probably want to improve with the British and the French for that exact reason. We can get more influence points by getting more rivalries, so let's rival nations that don't matter, like Haiti, maybe not the Netherlands, but maybe all of these German little ones. Yeah, we could do that. All the Germans we can rival here. That's doable because we, remember, have the declared interest in the Rhine. If we didn't have that, we wouldn't be able to rival those Germans. What the schnitzel? Vineyards are in such high demand. Let's get some more wine, shall we? We got our very first tooling workshop, which requires only wood to be input. As so happens, we do have wood, and we're going to change to the sawmill production method, which is going to produce 60 wood. So we get that extra 30 required to produce 30 tools. And then we use 5 tools for this particular production method. So we're going to have to make use of the rest of the tools. 10 tools will be used for switching over to butchering tools. And we can also do harvesting tools, which is going to produce even more grain for us. And we're going to have to switch over some of these trade routes. Right now, we don't have the best trade routes, so we're going to have to redo everything. I'm going to import from the Americans temporarily until we actually get our own domestic production of tools going. We're also building right now our own clothing manufactory, but it's gonna take a while, so we're gonna basically just import from the Americans again. Just realized that I canceled all the trade routes with the Americans, and I got back the exact same trade routes with the Americans. So yeah, we're super dependent on America right now. Also, don't want to go for charity hospitals because I am in the process of researching pharmaceuticals. It's gonna be my 3rd research, I guess. So once that's done, we can straight up go for public health insurance. We have a little bit of support for it, so hopefully that stays there. That does mean we're going to increase the standard of living, lower the mortality, and those are the 2 things we need. Increase the standard of living to get some migrants, lower the mortality so we increase our pops a little bit more. So obviously that's the one for us. We also want to go for homesteading. Right now the southern plantation owners would hate that, but they do have 20 relations with us, so going for homesteading might not be too difficult. Truce is also over with Mexico, so we're going to be attacking them, returning the state back, and we're going to be calling in our beloved allies, the Americanicos. We can also add maybe return New Mexico. We have a claim on New Mexico as well? No shot, dude. Oh, I hate this. Because if I don't know what to do now. Oh, this is horrible, man. Is New Mexico a part of the challenge? Probably not, so we're not gonna go for it. Why did I have to say I'm doing a 1-state challenge? I could have just said I'm playing Texas and taking over all of North America. That would have been fun, right? I feel like this might be a little bit more fun personally, so we'll go with this. Let's call in the Americans, call ally, boom shakalaka don'ts, and let's also add a few more war goals since we know we're gonna win because the Americans are on our side. Hell yeah, give me military assistance. Oh, we actually can have up to 6 conscripts now, so that's huge. Okay, US, time to shine, boys, time to shine. Show me the power of the American PayPal. Should have gone for war reparations, but that meant we would have had to go all the way to the capital of Mexico, and I was just not sure if we're actually gonna get the Americans to help us out, so maybe we'll go war reparations in the next war against the Mexicans. No, I'm not gonna go for New Mexico, I promise. We're only gonna stay as Texas, that's it. The fact that I didn't add any of the war goals means that we basically won the war now, because we have the only war goal, namely the Mexican-Texas part, so we just gotta wait here. We don't need to attack, we're just keeping on defend, although the American homies are definitely on the attack. They are in a very murderous kind of mood from what I'm noticing here. What are the casualties right now? So we got 20,000 dead Mexicans, 1,000 Texan, and 8,000 Americans, as well as 20,000, most of which are Americans as well. There you go, boys. We got all of Texas. The great Lone Star State is here. We got 228,000 pops, 200,000 GDP, and a lot of cattle. Apparently, that's what we're really known for. Yeah, that's right. The reason I've been thinking about doing a Texas playthrough is because I've watched like 3 seasons of Yellow Yellowstone, and I'm slightly addicted to that TV series. All right, time to colonize Oklahoma. Anybody know why Texas has a claim on New Mexico? I'm actually curious about that. Like, what's the historical background behind that? Okay, time for more farms. We are in essence a farming society at this point, and we also can do resource industry expansion, or we could do national values to assimilate and convert faster. Yeah, we could go for that. We're doing that temporarily because we do have right now about 7,000 Mexicans, which technically we should be converting to Dixie if we're lucky, right? We also have less Dixie and more Ibu and Udham now. Hey, we have an agitator. What's he agitating for? Liberal movement utilitarian. So he wants women's suffrage, neutral towards slavery ban. What kind of a liberal are you, brother? Hey, homesteading. Nice. All right, let's see how close are we to banning this. We're not close to this at all. Right now, trade unions, intelligentsia are the only ones that would support this. Oof. And we don't really have much of approval from the southern plantation owners. As you would imagine, they're a little bit unhappy with us switching to homesteading from tenant farmers. We could go for elected bureaucrats. Not sure how much of a difference it's going to make, but we have a petition for it from the yeoman, so we might as well do it. Also, we have shortages of iron already. We're going to start importing them from our good friends, the Americans, because the Americans have a lot of iron, I hope. Let's also switch over to lace here, which is going to require tools, and we're going to switch over to the rough iron tool production method, which requires iron, which we're going to be importing from the Americans again. Speaking of, we're also going to be importing some hardwood from the Americans and some ships. There you go. That should fix most of our issues, I hope. Oh yes, baby, give me them friendly relations. I don't like the fact that they're still protective though. They should be seeing us as allies, not a nation that they want to integrate, okay? The only good thing we literally have for us right now is the fact that our legislation is passing significantly faster than I expected it to pass, at least. Come on, pass the 31%. Go! Yay! Yeah, there you go. We got our petition done, and that means we can focus on more bad legislation, because we cannot do the one that we really want to do. Because I wanna really wanna ban slavery. We need to switch away from merchant guilds production method to privately owned, so we get more capitalist, which is why we're going for protectionism for now. And by switching over a couple of production methods around, we have a bigger need for more goods, namely coal and glass. Good thing is that we can actually have a lot of coal mines, up to 28 full coal mines. Oh my god, it's unbelievable the amount of coal mines we can have. Oh, this is not good. Tennessee is rightful Texas. No, it's not. They can keep Tennessee. I don't even know where Tennessee is, man. It's not even connected to us. It's not even connected to us, is it? Why would we even want Tennessee, for Christ's sake? I don't even know where it is. I'm literally looking at the map. I have no... Oh, it's here. Why? Just why? I don't get that. Okay, this is bad. They have cautious attitude towards me. I'm assuming that's because of the claims they got. Oh, they want to see me as a subject. Oh god, this is really bad. This is really bad. We might just be calling it GG's if they attack us. Half of our economy is basically imports from the US right now, and they canceled the trade agreement. Okay, well, yeah, okay. So, ooh, it's really bad. Gonna cancel a lot of these trade agreements because we don't need some of these, but we are gonna have to rely on a few other things from them for now, such as dyes, I guess we're gonna have to rely on them for. Oh, I just realized they canceled the alliance with me. Yeah, that's really bad. Like really bad. What am I doing here, boys? What am I doing here? I have any chance of... I do have chance. Okay, hold on a second here, boys. Hold freaking on a second here, buddy boy. The United Kingdom might have my back after all. Fingers crossed it does, because otherwise I'm pretty much dead. I feel like this is all my fault also, because I went for Oklahoma. I should not have gone for Oklahoma. I don't know why I even decided to colonize this stuff. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll just give them Oklahoma. There you go. Acceptance 280. Yes. Awesome. Can you give me something in exchange? I'm just checking. I don't need nothing. I want to see if I'm... No shot. No shot. Bro, even the US in this video game doesn't want Rhode Island. What's up with that? The US is willing to trade Rhode Island for literally a fraction of Oklahoma here for 8,000. How many pops are there in Rhode Island? Also, where the hell is Rhode Island? I know it's close to this area, right? Come on, I know where it is, guys. I'm just messing, guys. Totally knew where it is. Yeah, see, it's here. It's right next to Connecticut, another state that I totally knew about. You know, I'm just memeing a little bit, but I'm actually curious curious to see what other states. They would give me Florida without even giving them obligation. Oh my god, they're almost giving it for free, bro. They're almost giving me freaking Florida for free. It is actually insane. Okay, what else? Delaware? Oh yes. Okay, I'm actually curious. What else can we get here? Massachusetts is very important, apparently. That's a no. I'm just maybe trolling, but maybe also want to see if it's possible. Can we get New York? Nope. New York, of course, is very important to them. South Carolina? Yes. So there's very few states that they would be willing to trade, but there are some. Let's see. What's next to us? Louisiana. Can we get Louisiana for Oklahoma? Brother, we might actually be able to. We're very close to getting Louisiana. How about Arkansas? We would be able to get... No, we're not. We're close, though. We're very close. Oh, that is crazy. That is actually crazy. Oh, man. If this wasn't a one-state challenge, I don't know. I'd probably get something as a meme. Maybe we should still get something as... Maybe we should get Rhode Island, bro. If the US doesn't want it, why shouldn't we have it? Are there any nations actually we could release from Rhode Island afterwards? I mean, subjects technically still means we are one province state, right? So that actually seems like an interesting loophole now that I think about it. I don't know if there are any nations we could release from Rhode Island. Oh, I think I just realized something, guys. I believe that we can release Florida as a actual nation, and then we have that as our first subject. Let's go, boys. I love the fact that the US is trading Florida for basically peanuts here. We're getting 100,000 pops, 40,000 GDP for literally 8,000 pops. That is insanely crazy to me. If I wasn't doing a one-state challenge, that would be 100% a tactic. Basically, colon the Americans, get New Mexico, which is your claim, colonize a little bit of Oklahoma, trade it for like Florida or whatever other provinces around here, and then use that as a foothold and grab the rest of Mexico and then push into the US when they have the rebellion and the Confederate States secede. That way you could both attack the Confederates and the US proper at the same time. But now, let's go ahead and release our beloved Floridian. Wait, what? No! Oh, this is actually bonkers, bro. I cannot release him because I have historically plausible... Oh, God. Seriously, man? Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to get rid of them some other way. What? Dude, the US does not... I'm giving you obligations in a state for free and you do not want... What do I do now? What do I do now? No, I don't want Florida also. Come on. Okay, no, I cannot believe this. I cannot believe... If Cuba doesn't want Florida, I don't even know what to do. What is this? What is this, guys? All right, and now the game is just yanking my chains right now. Come on. I've tried every nation. Nobody would like to get Florida for free. I would like to apologize to all my Floridan viewers. Guys, I swear I don't know what to do now. It doesn't even have iron. It only has sulfur mines as well. Come on. At least it has dye plantation. You know what? I'll keep it temporarily. We're gonna figure out how to get rid of it. Don't worry. We're gonna build a dye plantation for now there. Oh God, getting Florida actually reduced my standard of living. That's horrible. I love to see that the intelligentsia and industrialists are making a little bit of leeway here. We might even be able to get them in government and then maybe pass this particular law that I'm very much so desperate right now to get established. All right, we also got protectionism. That's awesome. And we are at the cap of our gold reserves. That being said, it's not that big, guys. We only have 83,000 reserves, which is basically nothing. Also building the first University of Texas, and our industry is kind of ramping up. I'm not gonna lie, we're doing pretty decent with our industry right now. Gonna build a little bit of everything else, the glass works and everything too. I want to have as much of a domestic industry as possible. I don't want to be relying on anybody else for building anything, and we are getting pops massively. I mean, aside from the Floridian bits, we genuinely are increasing in pops quite a lot. We go over to Dixie now. We've got 150,000 Dixie. Out of these, about 80 or 90,000, 80,000 of them are in Texas itself. So we have started converting pops quite a lot thanks to our promote national values decree. And I also realized why the US hates me. It's because they've actually made a power block. I didn't even realize that before. That makes a lot of sense why they canceled the alliance and everything else. Seeing as eventually I'm going to get rid of Florida, I'm going to try not to build much stuff in Florida itself. Oh, this is huge. We got trade unions and intelligentsia in government, so that means we definitely have people to pass this law. We could go for the legacy one first, which would be a lot easier to pass. We don't really have anyone opposing this particular legislation, and then we can go for the main one, because right now we're getting 50% Southern plantation owners political strength, which is not good. To help with the passing of that particular law, we can invite this agitator, which he's gonna start an abolitionist movement, hopefully. Let's refresh. That he started yet? Come on, start the abolitionist movement, please. That's gonna make it a little bit easier to pass both the legacy and the ban of this particular legislation that I'm not gonna name because I know YouTube doesn't like that word. Oh my god, this is crazy. We could join the power block of the British Empire. Oh, do I want to do that? I feel like maybe I should not do that. They would definitely get enough leverage over me to subjugate me afterwards, I feel like. Unless I just try and prevent that? That could work, right? What does their power block right now offer? Let's see. Market unification level 3. That means we would take advantage of the British market. Oh my god, that genuinely would skyrocket our economy if we did. Oh, this is such a big deal. What do we do now? Do we join the British market, the largest market in the world, and pray G that they don't subjugate us? Or do we raw dog it as the Texans? I think I'm going to raw dog it a little bit longer, but I like to see that I have that option. So British power block, make this as a bookmark for myself in case it all goes to schnitzel later. Oh, and Florida, of course, is isolated from the rest of the country, so we're going to have to build a port here. Oh, come on, Britain. You really do. It's such a good state. Trust me, you would love this place. There's alligators, there's swamps and caimans, I think, which is another word for alligators, maybe. Also, can this legislation actually move, please? How are we at freaking 65% and we're not on study phase already? Come on, game. Oh, this is really bad. I got 161,000 people that need to be freed. Ooh. That's close to half of my population needs to be liberated. We've actually improved our score with the Americans too, so because we have amicable relations, it gives plus 50 attitude score, whilst them wanting to subjugate us gives a minus 50, so I guess it's going the right way, maybe. Feel like maybe I should just take the English offer here, man. If I don't, there's a high chance the Americans might just attack me. Right here, this is the worst luck ever. 93% success chance, and we're struggling to go over to voting. Imagine that, bro. Now, that being said, we could also take a little bit of advantage now of our current predicament, and we could just spam a little bit of extra textile mills, maybe, just so we make a bit more money, and maybe that's going to attract more pops to come over to our lands faster. Of course, the easiest way to bring pops to our lands is going to be to just have massive wars happening over Europe. Those lands get devastated, and those pops leave Europe and come to the New World, namely our lands, to look for a better future, right? One small step for man, one giant leap for Southern plantation owners? No, it's the other way. All right, now let's try the other legislation, which is the one we really wanted all along. You know, on the other hand, if we do join the British Empire, we also get a buttload of migrants to our lands, right? So maybe joining the British Empire, and even if we do become their subject, is not the end of the world, because afterwards we could just have a chill independence war where we could get the US to help us against the British, maybe, you know? Do all that taxation without representation thing 2.0, basically. But yeah, now because we're a part of the British market, everything is different, so we could technically just spam tooling workshops or whatever is in super high demand, and we just would become insanely rich. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing right now. I'm going to spam a few workshops, whilst at the same time obviously keeping a lot of the other buildings that we're building, just in case we get kicked out of the market, so we don't completely economically collapse in case that happens. Oh my god, everybody wants to join the Democratic Party. That is insane. Let's see how this law is going. 23, and we got diplomatic and broad. Yeah, I feel like this might not pass on the first attempt. Oh, I just realized Mexican is one of the homelands in Texas, so that means we're not converting any Mexicans, or Comanche for that matter. Oh, dude, that's why we still have 11,000 Mexicans here. Holy schnitzel. Well, we've got access to our very first company now. Problem is, we only have one option right now, the Texas Agricultural Consortium. We don't want that. Instead, I'm actually thinking of going for the Texas Foods, not necessarily because of the amount of money we get from food industries, but because we get the 5% birth rate, and population is our biggest concern. Getting that 5% birth rate is a no-brainer, so that's why I queued up 4 more food industries. That should bring us up to 5, which is the amount we need in order to get that particular company. And also make it more productive by prioritizing groceries, of course, and by going for baking powder, which is one of the next technologies we're rushing for right now. Yay! Yay, 1 million GDP after so long. It literally took us 15, 20 years to get a million GDP, bruh. Hey, on the bright side, our population is really scaling up. And now is when we start scaling up as a nation, actually. So we're getting a lot of pops from the British market. We have Scots in our country now. We got Muskegeans, Apaches, everything really. And we're going to start getting even more. So once we ban slavery, we also want to go for universal suffrage. We have a little bit of support for it actually right now. And if we manage to do this, that would technically lead us down the path of being the most civilized and advanced nation out there. Also, social mobility is doing its magic. And we banned slavery as well. Now, see, this is just weird to me. How come I've got 109 migration attraction, which makes sense. Let's face it, we have unused arable land at 30. So basically we've got about 490 something arable. I'd say it's 500 in Texas alone, which is huge. It really genuinely means that Texas and I believe a couple of other states in the US like California and such, they can have, even California's got less. It's got 300 compared to the 500 in Texas. So Texas has the potential to be the best migration state alongside some of the American states in the north. But check it out. Some of those states like New York only has 39 attraction, 61 in Pennsylvania. What is up with that? That's actually kind of weird to me. There's more migration attraction in Quebec by comparison, and in freaking Florida out of all places. Come on. Oh my god, what happened to Belgium? They went for the worst outcome. They gave Luxembourg massive swathes of their land. They even gave them Dutch Flanders, man. That is horrible. The great powers really screwed over the Belgians, didn't they? And apparently now Austria also subjugated the Belgians. So Belgium is officially a protectorate of Austria for free, basically, for the Austrians fighting in their rebellion. Oof. Asia is fairly standard. The Japanese have not yet modernized. India is also fairly standard. We have the British Raj, but they haven't really consolidated much their hold. And South America is also extremely standard, with Peru, Bolivia obviously forming as they do in pretty much every game. Now we're also trying to get as much market access as possible here. So we are building right now our very first railway. And that also leads me to say that kind of like playing as a one state because it's a lot easier to keep track of everything. You know what I mean? It's significantly easier actually. I'm also ignoring completely Florida. It's as if Florida does not exist for me, to be honest, right now. I'm not even touching it. I'm not even touching. Hopefully, and let's just pray G, the Americans are gonna just take it back for nothing at some point. I hope that is gonna happen. Huzzah! Universal suffrage, suffering for everybody equally, and also we got 1 million population. Huge day, boys. Huge day. 300,000. Oh my god. Oh my freak. Why do we almost have more Scottish people than our primary culture in our country? What is happening in this market? What? Why is the dominant culture in my main state Scottish? What the shit is happening here, man? Oh my god. We're getting invaded by the Scots, buddy. Okay, real question is, what are they doing to the Scots that they're all leaving in massive droves, huh? That's the real question. What is happening in the northern parts of the United Kingdom, boys? I have questions right now. Also, I'm finally going for public education. About time we get some more assimilation bonuses in. I'm going to improve relations with them. I actually do want to get good relations with the Americans. We're still on cordial level. We want to go up to amicable. And we do have a better attitude score because they do not want to subjugate me anymore, which is good, actually. We might actually live together side by side as bestest of friends. Heck, they might even want to take back Florida. Who knows? Oh my god, that was literally the precursor to the Blitzkrieg. There we go. Proper American borders. Historical, accurate borders of Texas, US, and Mexico, because we all know this is what actually happened, right? Also, let's go ahead and establish the Texas Foods Company, finally. It's also actually official now. There literally are more Scottish people in my country than my primary culture. Way more than my primary culture, and they're not getting assimilated fast enough, that's for sure. So now I've had a good 8 years of being, actually I think it's more than that, since we joined the British market, and it's going really, really good for us. We're really taking advantage of that. Fortunately, I still am not able to give away Florida to anyone. My capitalists have even been building some buildings in this particular state, and still nobody freaking wants it. It is actually crazy. Now, when it comes to Texas itself, it is wild what we've been doing here. We're up to 5 million GDP, which is not bad considering what we started as. Remember, Remember, we had 30,000, not even 100,000, bro. 1.4 million population in Texas and growing. We're up to 109 migration attraction, which is not too bad considering we're not even a great power or major power or anything. And buildings, we are basically getting a little bit of everything in here. We're a little bit short of construction, so we're gonna have to double down on that. And we do have enough population. I really don't want to do this because it's shameful display, but okay, I'm just gonna do it. Look at the culture map mode. We're still Scottish. Not only are we still Scottish, we have close to 1 million of our population Scottish, bro. It is. I don't even know what to say, man. I don't even know what to say. What is happening here? We are starting to get some Englishmen, some other pops, some Australians, Canadians and such, but Scots rule Texas. And I mean, we might as well just change all the names to McLaren and McGuinness and William Wallace Street, really. I'm not saying it's a Scottish conspiracy, but it genuinely is starting to look like one. Hey guys, you want to see something really cool? Check it out. We've got the very first Afro-American president in the new world, and our laws reflect that. We're only basically missing women's suffrage right now, but we don't have the technology for it yet. We're working on it, not to fear though. Our economy is starting to actually skyrocket. We're doing way better than we started, and not only that, but the standard of living, we are now 5th in the world, or 4th, because the Belgians are basically on the same level as us. So Belgium's got 18 million GDP with just these two states. That is crazy. If you haven't seen my Belgium video, highly recommend you check it out. I had a lot of fun with the 2-state playing toll video as Belgium. It was a crazy ass nation. Now that being said, we're also doing pretty good here, and I would hate to show you the cultural map mode because not only do we have predominantly Scots now in our country, there's a fight. There's an actual fight. We have 951 Scots, 948 Englishmen. So the Scots and the English are taking to the battlefield and fighting amongst each other to see who will be the dominant culture in Texas. I got the feeling the English might win that one out because there's a lot more English in the world than there is Scots. There you go. I think they actually did just win that. Australian is also the highest culture in Florida out of all freaking cultures. And I just have to say it. I'm gonna say it. If there's any culture in the world that plugs with Florida, it's Australian. Nothing says Florida as well as Australians living there. No, I feel like this is the most well-adapted culture for the Floridian wetlands by far. And let's also refresh this now. Yeah, baby, Englishmen. Okay, so we have Englishmen in actual England. And where else do we have English? Are we the only other part of the world? No, South Africa also has predominantly Englishmen. Not in Australia. Australia is predominantly Greeks, which is the most Australian thing ever. If you know, you know. There's no other place that I can see at least that has a lot of Englishmen. Oh, we also have some in the US actually. We've got the Oregon and Idaho and apparently Minnesota that has predominantly Englishmen. There's a lot of Anglo-Canadian, Franco-Canadians in the north, so not really. I'm assuming that means they're properly getting assimilated. Meanwhile, we're trying our best with assimilation, but we only have 700,000 primary culture. Majority of pops are not really getting assimilated fast enough, that's for sure. Now, GDP wise, we are the best state in North America, 10 million GDP in Texas. Population wise, we're second, surprisingly, after Cuba, which has a little bit more pops than us, and also is close to 7 million GDP. So Cuba is doing pretty well for themselves. Now in the world, I would assume London's got more than me, 14 mil, 16 mil, 15 mil. Yeah, so the British Empire does hold the record when it comes to GDP per state, or maybe Bengal. 21 million in West Bengal. Okay, West Bengal is absolutely bussin'. So that's my goal there. Get more GDP than that and also get rid of Florida. I'm still trying, guys. I swear to God, nobody wants them. It's crazy. I don't even know what to do. Hey, we just hit 15 standard of living. So that means we're second. Yay, we're right after the Swedes. Nice. Oh, I know why. It's because we lowered our taxes. That's why. Okay, makes sense. Let's go ahead and privatize more buildings because we need to have more capitalists that we can tax the shit out of course. That's our main source of income. Oh my God, no. I already went to max reserves. Okay, we need to stop privatizing. Or we need to stop privatizing and actually double down on our construction sectors, better yet. But the thing is, I'm trying not to build in Florida, so I'm waiting for my steel frame building to finish so I can change over to the steel steel frame building production method for my construction sectors. That's going to be a big game changer. Okay, and now we're up to 16 standard of living, which means we are basically on the same level as the Swedes. So technically we are the highest standard of living in the world right now, up to 124 migration already. The scaling is real, guys. We went up to 21 million GDP in Texas alone, 4.8 million population. So GDP wise, we are the second highest. We've defeated the British Isles, but we still have to defeat Bengal, which has 26 million GDP. We're very close. We got almost that with 4 million population, whilst they have 23 million population. So I'd say we're doing pretty good for ourselves here. We're also the 9th great power in the world, whilst only fielding 5 million population compared to everybody else around us. So that's pretty impressive in my eyes, especially since we're getting most of our income from the one state. Florida is just, Florida is just there. We don't really talk about Florida much, nor can we get rid of Florida. It's like that little cousin that you never invited to the party but still wants to sit there. We also got 2.1 million English and 1.1 million Scots, as well as a little bit of Greeks apparently to sprinkle down on the population melting pot. Australians have gotten assimilated in Florida, so I guess they really have adapted to that area. See what I mean? Seriously though, America, do I have to actually attack you to force you to take Florida? What's happening here? Literacy wise, we are the most literate state in the world right now, which really speaks a lot about the rest of the world if you ask me. Economically speaking, we're also doing pretty good, and we're advancing with our economy more and more. We have 205 construction sectors, so we can get 3 more. Actually, we can get a lot more. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna max out the construction sectors in Texas. Again, I'm not building anything in Florida. Everything that's there has been built by the capitalists, or better yet, the private sector of my country, and I'm still gonna get rid of it somehow. I'll figure it out, okay? Now, I don't normally do this, but I've done something a little bit different. I've made a few bookmarks along the way, 1894, 1863, and so on, some of the more important dates. And I've done that because if you guys are interested in playing out my particular run and matching to see how well you do with this one state challenge compared to me, then you'll find these saves on my Patreon. I'm doing this as a means of giving something back to my patrons that have really helped me out massively, and also to encourage some other ones of you boys out there. If you'd like to support me, I'd really appreciate it. I haven't had the best of times in the past few months, and Patreon really has helped out massively keep the lights on, you know. So yeah, we've also in the past few years actually doubled down on everything in the game. We're up to 7 million population and 36 million GDP, so we do have more than East Bengal. Finally, they have only 30 million, so we have 6 more million than them, and our standard of living is 20.4. We're a little bit brought down by Florida, that little Schnitzeldorf of a state that we want to get rid of, but apparently is a lot more difficult than I expected to. Culture wise, the English are absolutely dominant, but we got more Dixies now because we're getting about 4,000 a month, so the Scots and so on are secondary after our Dixie pops, with the English definitely being the top dog right now. That being said, we have everybody now. We got Bulgarians, Greeks, Australians, Franco-Provençals, Albanians, Armenians. Everybody is starting to migrate here, and we still don't have enough population. Check it out. Look at a graph, actually, for that matter. Look how fast it goes up, and it just keeps on going up. We have 0 peasants, 0 unemployed. We have a lot of jobs, and we just don't have pops to fill these jobs up. So I've started switching over to electrical production methods. We don't have all of them done though. We're maxed out with our innovation cap, and we still don't have enough to research as fast as we could. I'm actually thinking to just build a lot more universities. Let's just see. We do have right now about 30, if I'm not mistaken, 33 of them, all in Texas. Legislation wise, I'm also trying to switch over to mass conscription so I can actually start building a proper army. We only have 5 units still because, well, we have a lot of conscripts. If we wanted to, we could get up to 100 conscripts actually in Texas alone, which is pretty significant if you think about it. But we really need to have a standing army to make some changes around the political landscape, if you know what I mean. The British right now are also in a couple of wars. They've got a pretty significant war against Kutai, which also involves Qing and a few other nations, and they have a lack of convoys, which is why right now we're struggling with our market access. We have 91 market access, and it's decreasing simply because of the British not having the ability to send out enough convoys to cover all the various nations in the market right now. Now, ledger wise, we are by far the first nation when it comes to standard of living. After us is the British Empire, Belgium, and so on, but we are absolutely standing out. And GDP wise, we're above the Prussians. Imagine this, a one state nation has more GDP than Prussia. And I know what you're saying. I'm already hearing you boys. Oh, but you got Florida too. Brother, there's only 2 million GDP in Florida. Nobody cares about it. I'm not even including. I'm just saying the 37 million GDP that I have in Texas is more than the 36.4 million that the Prussians have, okay? I'm literally getting more of an economy than the great power of Prussia. Come on, boys. And between me and you guys, we just started getting a massive economy, because not only are the power plants going to make a massive difference, but we also are starting to use oil rigs. And guess what? We can have up to 50 oil rigs in Texas. So once I finish building all 50 of these oil rigs, we're going to get insanely rich, and our standard of living is actually going to explode because of all the oil we're going to have. And we're also one of the few nations that have automobile production. So we're making a buttload of money from automobiles too. I really wasn't kidding when I said the scaling is actually crazy. Look at that. We're up to 45 million GDP. We have 43.7 million GDP in Texas only. And that's just from changing over the production method for the tooling workshops to the machine steel tools, and from getting a few more motor industries finished building here. And that's literally what, 8 million GDP in less than a freaking couple of months. That is ridiculous, brother. Look at that. 160,000 we're making from automobiles, which accounts for 20% almost of our entire GDP. We are the only place basically in the British market right now that actually does produce automobiles, so we are extremely rich because of that. Now I also want to show you guys my institutions, because look at this. We have level 4 about to get social security. We're gonna go for level 5 social security, which means we're gonna have 100% welfare payment and 10% food security, which is the big deal here. Problem is, I do need to switch away from National Guard to guaranteed liberties, or at the very least secret police, because we're not able to max out our home affairs right now because of National Guard. That being said, we are still attracting people quite a lot. We have 169 migration attraction overall. So we're currently receiving 8.53 immigrants from Bremen, home countries, Midlands. So all over the world, people are migrating already to us. By contrast, most of the other areas in North America have 62, 57, 86, 92, I think is the highest in Pennsylvania. And we just hit 50 million GDP on 1897 January. All of this being, well, most of this being in Texas. 48 million right now in Texas. Look at the map, dude. This is actually insane to look at this. Look how green we are compared to absolutely everybody in the world. It's just absolutely amazing to me to see how powerful Texas is. The European states have their own benefits, right? Saxony and Silesia, Bohemia, etc. They're really great states, but in the late game, that's when Texas starts to shine because of the oil that we have here, because of the migration attraction, because of the fact that we have 500 arable land. 500 is huge, guys. It basically means we can sustain an insane amount of people in here by just spamming the shit out of farms in essence. And it also means we attract a lot more people from that are going to the new world into our state. Okay, this is insane. I just lost 45 million GDP all because of India, guys. India decided it wants independence. It gained its independence and absolutely screwed me over. They also joined the glorious they formed the glorious union. What the schnitzel is that, bro? I cannot believe how much money I lost because of India leaving our freaking market. This is what the market's looking like now. A completely different amount of things in demand compared to before. Now I'm still the #1 standard of living wise, but I did lose a massive amount of GDP and by extent a lot of standard of living. We were at 23 at one point, so this is pretty disappointing. But on the bright side, we are now the 7th great power in the world with literally just the one state of Texas. We've got 48 million GDP in here, and yes, I still am struggling to get rid of Florida. It just don't worry about it. I'm only counting this, okay? I'm not counting Florida at all. Really hope we could pass laissez-faire. I really need this. If we get laissez-faire, not only do we get the extra company, but the loan interest rate is going to be absolutely massive. Right now, the fact that we are a great power also helps out a lot because it means we have an extra minus 50% loan interest rate. But with this and with the technologies, we basically would pay close to 0 interest as consequence. The bad part for the Indians is that because they left the market, the best state they had, which had like 30 million, 35 million GDP at one point, is struggling to keep up to 15 million now, whilst we're up to 55 million and massively growing in Texas. And if you're wondering why the map is like this, it's because I have an issue with my CPU. It got destroyed. So now I can only play the game on very low texture, otherwise my computer crashes. So hopefully I'll fix this in a few days. Let's see what happens. So I've added a couple of consumption taxes, which allowed me to go to low taxes taxes again. Aim is, of course, to go to very low taxes once more, which means we would probably skyrocket back to 23, 24 standard of living if we do that. Okay, we just got assembly lines, so that means that together with the electric arc process, it's gonna skyrocket our economy, but unfortunately, it does require a lot more power, so we're gonna have to out-click a lot of these power plants. Say an extra 10 power plants for now in Texas should do it. Boy, was I wrong about that. So the production method for electric arc processes alone requires an extra 1,550 electricity. So we don't need 10 factories, we need about 50 more factories right now. To put this into perspective, getting the electricity required for the motor industries just gave us 6 million more GDP. And yes, we're making 113,000 basically, or 100,000 whatever weekly balance just from the motor industries. I'm gonna get an extra 10 motor industries because we're just making so much money, we might as well do that, right? We do have 60% throughput now. We would be able to get an extra 10% by getting 10 more factories in here, which is pretty acceptable in my eyes. Just look at the scale at which this is growing, guys. This is crazy. 69 million GDP in a single state. That is crazy, bro. I hate this, bro. This is the third time that we failed to pass laissez-faire. I know why some of you are already screaming in your seats now. Ludi, why did you go universal suffrage so fast? Why did you empower your freaking trade union so early when you should have gone for laissez-faire first when you had support for it? I still have some support for it, but yeah, you're right. I should have pushed for laissez-faire before I went so heavy into universal suffrage. I guess I just wasn't thinking straight, okay? I'm sorry for not playing super min-maxi, guys. I'm sorry, okay? Now, actually, I'm curious, guys. If you enjoyed this run as a one state, I kind of like this a lot more than my regular runs, to be honest. So I kind of want to repeat this as another state. So let me know in the comment section what state you have in mind for me to do this as, because this was honestly a lot more fun than I expected it to be. Now, I really wish I could just build construction sectors in Florida. We would be scaling so much faster. But like I said earlier, I don't consider, I'm just cutting Florida out of the equation when I talk about everything, okay? So I don't consider Florida actually a part of my state in essence right now. I'm just trying to see how much I can do with just the one state of Texas, basically. I really wish I had the historical plausibility thing off so I could release the Floridians. Oh, you want to see the really funny part, guys? We literally overpassed India. The entirety of India has less GDP than the mighty nation of Texas, okay? I said it. We're bigger than India. We're greater than them too, and we're gonna probably overtake the French as well in a few years, if not earlier. And check it out now, boys. We're maxed out on most of the institutions, with, as you would imagine, the exception of Home Affairs, because we still have a National Guard, unfortunately, but we do have women's suffrage on the way. So once that's done, we're gonna be able to make use of another 15% of our population. So from 16 million, that's gonna be, I don't know, a few 100,000 people that we're gonna be able to put to good use, which is awesome because it means the 101 million GDP in our Texas state is going to go up to 130, 140 probably. But it does seem like we have issues with our government, so let's reform that. We're also still making money on very low taxes. We're basically making $500,000 and increasing because we're just ridiculously OP right now. I think I'm just going to increase my government wages. I don't really need to. I'm just doing it because why not? Don't really have anything else to do with the money anyway. Let's see how close anybody else is to us. The British are still second right after us with the standard of living, and the Canadians after that. Oh, I just realized we did overtake the French. Woohoo! Okay, next target is overtaking the Americans. What does guaranteed liberties actually mean if you think about it? Does it mean the right to bear arms? Does it mean the right to not be bearing arms and be protected from people that bear arms? What does it actually mean? I don't understand what guaranteed liberties is all about, boys. I just don't. But I'm happy because that means we get loyalists and radicals balanced out, so we're doing pretty good with that. Do have some other laws in mind, such as maybe switching over to a corporate state or a council republic just for the memes. And we're also now the fourth great power officially, not just in GDP. It's official, boys. 1913 is the year in which we have the highest GDP in the world, and we thank all of this to plastics. That's right, changing over to the houseware plastics production method literally skyrocketed our economy. I'm just gonna spam the schnitzel out of these as well. So right now we're doing really good. We've got 152 million GDP in Texas, which means that from the Texas state alone, we have more GDP than all the other great powers. By far, we got more than the entirety of the US, which is second after us, more than the entirety of Great Britain, more than the entirety of Great Qing. So technically, we already won with what we set out to do in just one state, get more GDP than all the other powers, become the greatest power in the world with just one state. But I'm gonna play this out a little bit longer because just want to see how much I can scale this. Like right now, we're getting 1.2 million national revenue if we go on very high taxation, which obviously we're not going to do because we don't need to do that. But I'm just curious to see how far we can take this, and I'm also just curious to see how many pops we get here. Right now, we got 12 million Englishmen, 3.9 million Scots, or 0.1 million Scots, which is literally more Scots in our country than there are in Scotland. Why? Just why? Yeah, in essence, just having the better production method literally allowed us to skyrocket the economy, which goes to show that it really is all about having the right technology in this game, if you think about it. Wait, we don't even have 50 steel mills in Texas, and we're already making 10,000 steel in Texas alone. What? Guess since I'm making so much money, I can cancel some of these consumption taxes, and maybe I can use the extra authority to set up more decrees. I don't even know what to do, really. I don't have any decrees to set up, actually. The Three Fires Uprising. Now, hold on a second here. What is this? What the schnitzel does the Three Fires actually mean? Oh, it's a Native American uprising. I see. Wow, okay. And I just realized we could have gotten an extra 5 construction sectors for a while now. I genuinely just realized that. I forgot about the extra 5 we got from the tech. We could have had way more than we have right now GDP wise if I realized that earlier. If anything, I kind of just want to see after we get all the production method technologies unlocked, how much more we can get just from switching over to those production methods alone without any other scaling whatsoever, right? But I mean, don't get me wrong, some scaling will of course by nature happen by that point. Also, I just realized that we have 120 maize farms. I did not build that many, okay? This is private sector building these maize farms in here. Now we switched all 30 of our construction sectors to the arc welded building production method, which intakes electricity, so we need to basically be spamming at least 50 more factories, power plants, better yet, not factories. But it's worth it because now we've got 572 construction just from the one state of Texas. We reached 203 million GDP, making us again the top dog in our campaign. And not only that, but we're the top dog with 200 mil in Texas itself, again not taking into account the Floridian 2 mil. Nobody cares about that stuff. Now that being said, there's some interesting things that we need to cover here, such as the Roman Republic having sprung out of the Papal States, and also I don't know how it's possible, but Italy still has not formed, nor has Germany formed for that matter. I think it might have something to do with the Confederation of the Rhine being around and the fact that they are a subject of the British Empire. Romania did form too, but they didn't manage to get any of their lands. The Ottomans collapsed and they gave birth to Kars, totally historically accurate Turkish Sunni nation, I guess. Wasn't there like other cultures that should be around there, like, I don't know, Kurds or something? Yeah, what about that being a Kurdish nation? Interesting that it's not. In the north, we also have some interesting things such as Eastern Norway, which is at peace. So that means Eastern Norway, which I believe is a communist nation, presidential republic cooperative ownership, yeah, they're communist. They've got 62,000 GDP and they're non-aligned. They're an atheist. Oh, they're the only atheist nation so far. Primary culture is Norwegian, and Norway still exists, of course. Finally, the Japanese Empire modernized. They got 91 battalions. We have more units than the Japanese. We actually have 50 infantry and 50 siege artillery, because again, we're not taking into account what we can build in Florida. Nobody cares about Florida. And I kind of get the feeling like you guys might think I hate Florida. I don't. I'm just pointing out it's not part of the challenge. That's the only reason. I have nothing against Floridian people, okay? In fact, I don't know if you know about this, but my dad was Florida man. He said he's gonna go out and grab some milk, and I haven't seen him for 34 years now. I'm still hopeful he's gonna come back with that milk one day. Oh, and I just saw we have 2 Ecuadors as well. We have one that's part of the American League, and they are monarchists with racial segregation and universal suffrage, and the other one is just classic Ecuador. Hey guys, do you wanna free Florida? No, you don't want. How about you, Cuba? Don't you think it's about time you guys reclaim Florida? No, okay. Oh, dude, this is just crazy. We have 800,000 national revenue, and we got basically 2 million if we go on very high taxation. So I don't even know what to do with the money, bro. That's the one thing about playing as a one state toll nation, that at one point you reach that level where you just don't know what to do with the money, which is crazy to say. Maybe there should be a feature where you could give the money back to the people to increase your standard of living. That would be a cool thing, maybe for the late game, a technology perhaps. Oh, also, if I want to just get more prestige and become first grade power, I can just spam a massive amount of ships. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get 40 scout cruisers and 10 submarines. I'm gonna finish it here. I do hope you guys enjoyed my little Texas adventure, so make sure to let me know in the comment section what other one state nations we could play as all the way till the end of the campaign as we did with Texas. Love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.